listening to Musicians and Beyond, where we bring you the backstage info on the life, the lyrics, and the long journeys of the music industry. Last week, we had two incredible guests in studio. We had Ben Duran and Sal Weston. Ben Duran used to be a star football player for Auburn University. He was a walk-on quarterback, and he tells us all about that story and how he equates walking on as a quarterback to a very prestigious school to his jump into the music industry and putting all his eggs in one basket. And a couple of days after he was on our show, he moved out to Nashville, Tennessee for a few months, and he's already doing great things out there. So if you haven't seen or heard our last episode, Ben Durand with Sal Weston, it's a must-see, must-hear. It's great. And today we have a wonderful, amazing, very talented young lady, Krystal King, going to be calling in, and she has some great stories to tell, great music. She's going to talk about a couple of her songs and how she came about putting them together. So without further ado, your friendly next door redneck, Krystal King. Krystal, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're doing good here in Boston. It's very cold out, a lot of snow. Where are you calling in from?
Nashville.
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 Music
Yeah.
City, USA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lived here for 7 years or so, I think.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow. Did you just go for a visit with your friends and never came home, or how did that happen?
I came down in college to do an internship for like not 6 months, like 3 months, and I just loved the city, and I always kind of wanted to. I think just the idea of Nashville and moving to Music City. So got engaged, and I just twisted my husband's arm and told him that we were moving to Nashville.
Wow. Wow. I see who runs the show there. So being down in Nashville, every corner has an incredible musician. That must
hmm
really make you work harder to hone your craft.
Oh, for sure. I think that was probably like just one of the best things about moving here is just not only like seeing how many good people there are, but just surrounding yourself with people that are good. It kind of like levels you up in a way. Plus, it makes you kind of kick yourself in the butt and actually work harder to get there. But yeah, it's definitely a very inspiring and creative city.
Yeah, there's a great musician on every corner. And actually, one of our previous guests, Kirsty Kraus, was one of our on our show, obviously, and you've done some
Yeah.
collaboration with her.
Yes, we have. I'm actually about to be in Florida with her.
Fun.
Yeah, going down to the Keys, and it'll be a good trip.
Yeah. Now, is that where she's from?
No, she's originally from Wisconsin and now lives in Nashville.
Nice, nice, because it seems like she does a lot in Florida.
Yeah, well, she has an aunt that lives there, so I think that's kind of what started the whole thing. And then we've kind of taken up with the Parrot Head community.
Yeah, yeah. It was
And so
actually
we
Jimmy Buffett was my very first concert ever back
really
in 1982 or three. My dad, it was
nice.
before he became popular, and my dad bought the whole front row,
hmm
and the place wasn't sold out because no one at that time knew who Jimmy Buffett was.
That's
And
why.
I was just a young kid. And at the end of the show, Jimmy Buffett came down and he had this pink wristband on, like a tennis band, and he reached down and he handed it to me, and it's a prized possession of mine.
And you still have it?
I still have it somewhere.
That's
I
awesome.
would
I love
never,
that.
I would never throw that away.
That's super cool. Well, we're gonna have to swap, and I'm gonna have you on my show to talk about that.
Well, that would be excellent. I would love that. That's right. You have your own show on Sirius XM,
Yeah, Radio Margaritaville.
Radio Margaritaville, on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah.
So I knew your voice sounded familiar, other than what I know here, because Margaritaville Radio is always on in my car.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's fun.
I love it. So let's talk about you and getting into music. When you were three
hmm
years old, you heard a clip by Alan Jackson, and you don't
Yeah.
recall the exact song, but from then there you were hooked.
Yeah, yeah. I think I don't actually even like remember this. It's just kind of my mom has told me that she was scanning the stations, and I was like, "Hey, wait, stop there!" And I just kind of fell in love with country music just on my own. So Alan Jackson, it was probably this. I loved the song "Little Bitty" whenever I was a kid,
Yeah.
and yeah, just like him, Shania Twain, Dixie Chicks, all of those.
So do you basically like just the musicians of country music, or are you into a little bit of everything?
Now I would say I'm into a little bit of everything. But honestly, and probably until like college, like country was pretty much what I listened to. I mean, I knew some of the classics as far as like my mom liked Blondie and Joan Jett, and dad liked like Elvis and the Eagles and things like that. So I mean, I listened to other things, but I didn't get really into exploring till later. And I think honestly, it kind of was whenever country music shifted a bit. In the early 2000s, it was kind of going through phases of like a little bit more like pop country or bro country and I think at that point, like I still liked country music and still loved country music, but like the 90s country was really what I loved. And so I think at that point, I kind of started exploring a little bit more and kind of going to old styles, but also like exploring some folk and rock and different genres.
Because listening to music that you have written, you have the sound of the 90s, you have folk, you have blues, you have rock, you have soul. So you really
Yeah.
incorporate a little bit of everything and make
hmm
everything crystal king.
Yeah, I try to. I try to. So definitely, still finding my sound, but I also am very like I like every song to sound different, kind of have a life of its own too. Um, I love whenever I do listen to CDs and it doesn't, you're not like, wait, that sounds just like that other song. Like I want every song to have its own identity.
Nice, nice.
Oh.
So you were not self-taught. You took lessons on the
hmm
guitar that you got from Santa Claus one year,
I did.
and then you got into the songwriting aspect of it.
hmm
How does Crystal King write a song?
So a lot of times, like I tend to be a hook writer, so it usually starts with like the idea or a very prominent line. Um, and a lot of times I just kind of like will like free write and just see what comes out. And a lot of times I do a lot more co-writing than I do solo writing, just because I tend to be an overthinker. And whenever I co-write, it kind of helps me have somebody to like bounce it off of and like focus my thoughts. And when you get stuck, you have somebody to help inspire that next line. It also, busy schedule. As much as I do like to write by myself, sometimes it'll get put on the back burner just with all the other hats you have where when you co-write, you're kind of making an appointment. So you're kind of making a dedicated time to do that. Well, when you co-write, you're usually just at somebody's house or in a writer's room. They're not paying for that. So,
Okay,
but it's still, time is money. So it's very true either way.
excellent, excellent. Um, as you progressed in music, you went into a very interesting field.
Yeah.
You're a psychiatric music therapist. Can you tell our listeners how you got into that and actually what it is and how, some results? This is very interesting to me.
Yeah. Um, so I went to college for music therapy, and it kind of covers a lot of different fields, but I just tended to be a little bit more passionate about psychiatric and mental health. But I've also worked in like a general hospital and a cancer institute, and we would use music a lot for like pain management, um, or just managing anxiety and different things like that. Um, and so it's really helpful, especially in pain management. Like there's a thing called the ISO principle where you try to like match the person's like heart rate and their breathing and their mood, and then you kind of shift it. And I've had like countless times where somebody had been like screaming in pain and then wound up like asleep by the time I left the room. So using it
Wow.
for that as well as, gosh. kids with autism or older adults with memory. Even if you think about like somebody who has Parkinson's, they use rhythms for gait therapy to help with their pacing of their walking, and neurologic stuff, because music's one of those things that's processed on both sides of the brain. So a lot of time it helps a lot with like stroke victims when they're trying to restore speech. Um, but particularly my most experience has been in psychiatric settings. And so just using music more for helping learn how to cope with things or express yourself better. So we do games like Name That Tune, or songwriting or song sharing, drumming, different things to work on that in a group setting.
Wow, that's super interesting, really.
Yeah.
And like, who found out that this all works?
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
there must be something to it because music has been around for thousands of years,
oh yeah.
and no matter what, it's the universal language, and everyone loves
Oh yeah. And I
to hear
think like
music.
I think to everybody it is therapeutic, and I think we've all kind of known that. But music therapy just kind of became a profession that they started investing more in, like researching and kind of figuring out like why and how to use music in these settings to make it the most productive. So yeah, it's super interesting. I still work in it every so often, but not full time anymore. But I definitely loved it and I miss it. But my heart was just kind of in the country music world.
Yeah, yeah, and it shows because you're doing really, really good things out there.
Thank you.
We are gonna listen to one of your songs, crystalkingmusic.com. She has a little cool store there that you can buy some swag. You can buy albums. What else do you got there? T-shirts. You got koozies.
Yeah, t-shirts, koozies, the albums. I also like have, I don't think it's on the store, but if you see me in person, I have earrings and other little doodads that you can buy. There's some stickers on there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's listen to Krystal King. She's going to play us one of her songs, and then after her song, she's going to tell us how she came about the lyrics and how she wrote it.
Oh, I'm gonna start with a uplifting song about murdering my husband.
Oh,
Nancy asked me why I done tore up my tulip bed, and Barbara had some things to say about the spade outside my shed. The HOA's been on my back about the state of my lawn, and up and down the block they're asking just to where my husband's gone. What I do is up to me if it's on private property. So paint your picket fence, stay on your own side, and don't dig up secrets when you can let them lie. Got blood on my hands, dirt to my name. Hell, I just might be digging a grave, but it ain't for you to say. So go on and bite your tongue. If you were smart, you'd learn to mind your own backyard. Well, it's been a week since I woke up with a new black eye, and I found him a punishment that sure fit his crime. So if you really want to know why my grass is green, it's 'cause of that piece of shit that's buried underneath. Oh, it's an open secret, and that's how I'd like to keep it. So paint your picket fence, stay on your own side, and don't dig up secrets when you can let them lie. Got blood on my hands, dirt to
All right, Crystal, tell us about that Murdering Your Husband song.
Yeah, I wrote that one of my friends, Stephanie Joyce, and it's a song about, well, in the song she's being abused and murders her husband. I think it came from my Dixie Chicks inspired time as a kid with Goodbye Earl. But I just thought about that line, like mind your own backyard, or I think it started as like take care of your own backyard. And I just wanted it to be kind of a cool play on words. And I was like, no, it's gotta be a murder song. So she murders her husband and buries him in the backyard. And no, my husband's not dead. He is still alive. He's not here right now for me to prove that, but he he is still alive and well. But I sent that to my dad after I wrote it, and he said, if you're gonna bury a body, make sure you plant endangered plants on top of it, because then it's illegal to dig it up.
You got to be thinking, right?
For
That
sure.
that is funny. So if your husband ever turns up dead, you are the first
I'm a first
suspect.
suspect. Yeah.
There you go. And he even wrote a song about it. Awesome. So that was fun. Thank you. Around Nashville, Tennessee, where you are, there's a million places to play. We talked about this. You have played the Bluebird Cafe, you've played Tootsie's, you played the
Mhm.
Listening Room. Those are all iconic places. Like
Yes.
it's like the history in those four walls is just amazing. Did you have a
Mhm.
favorite out of any of those?
Oh gosh, probably the listening room. The listening room is really nice. I have been hosting some rounds. Actually, just played there recently. Hosted a round, and then about a year ago, I was hosting pretty regularly there every few months, and it's just a cool space. And it's just nice that everybody is actually like sitting and listening, and that's the focus of the room, and you can play your own original stuff and people are there and paying attention, because that, like, mind your own backyard, if you're not really paying attention, it sounds like a fun song, but it sounds kind of like quirky, cheesy. But if you're like really listening to the words, then you get it, and I think that's just a space for songwriters to really be able to do that.
Fun. Yeah, I've been to all three of those places, and it's unbelievable. You could just be sitting there, and one musician that's on top of the world could just walk in, and that's how
Hmm.
people are discovered.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel as though that's going to happen to you?
I think like the music industry's changed so much that it's not necessarily like a big like moment where you're discovered, but I think you are always making impressions and connections with people and developing those relationships. So yeah, I mean, like, it's definitely a lot of pressure, especially in some of those venues, to be like, oh my gosh, like who could be in the audience. And then this last one was really really cool. I was hosting, but I asked a couple of friends that I'd met through the trap rock community. And so I kind of had some big names on stage with me, which was super cool. I had Tom Shepard, who wrote Redneck Yacht Club and Riding with Private Malone, and Eric Erdman. He wrote Stone's Throw for oh gosh, the the band out of the Red Clay Strays out of Alabama, and then Tori Allen. She has an Ashland Craft cut, and has played like fiddle and background vocals for like the Killers and Chase Rice and all these people. So that was just kind of a surreal moment, because I just couldn't believe I asked them, and they all like said yes to being on stage with me, and I was like, okay, this is cool.
That's
Um,
very cool.
yeah, yeah. So it was just an exciting moment to be like, okay, like, I'm definitely the weak link in this lineup here, but
Absolutely not.
but it kind of what we were talking about before, about just surrounding yourself with people that are better than you or more established than you, and learning and growing from them. And so it was just super cool to have their support.
Yeah, that's really fun. So how does a girl that is on her way up meet these people to even have the opportunity to get close enough and say, will you share the stage with me?
Yeah, so it varies. I think it is just continuing to network and getting to know the people around you, and sometimes the people you meet are not in the places you would expect to meet them. Like Tom Shepard and Eric Erdman, I actually met them through the trop rock community, which is kind of like some of the Jimmy Buffett parrot heads, and they've kind of branched off to make this genre of like beachy music, and they call it trop rock. And not everybody within this group is necessarily trop rock. They also really embrace just singer-songwriters. But Tom and Eric have happened to be part of that community. And then me and Kirsty had kind of started breaking our way into it and met some of these artists. And what is really fun about that community is it feels like whether it's like somebody on the beginning stages or my level or these big artists or big songwriters, they're very just like approachable, and they all treat each other like family, and the fans treat you like family. Like if they're gonna follow your music, they're not just gonna follow your music, they're gonna buy your merch, they're gonna let you crash at their houses if you're coming through town, they're gonna buy you food, they want and they want, but they expect you to kind of stay and hang out. They want you to like be a friend and be a good hang. So I think that's been a big thing with that community, and just finding those people that are like that, and they're not egotistical at all, and they're not like, oh, you're not on my level. They're there and ready to be like your friend and help each other.
Yeah, well, I think that's hugely important because it is a small community. And if
Mm-hmm.
you're not a nice person, it's going to get around that big but small community pretty quick
Mm-hmm.
to stay away from you.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's cool. So in the future, what do you think that you would like to do? Like 5 years down the road and then 10 years, where do you think you're going to see yourself?
Oh man. I'd say 5 years down the road, I would really love to have like a songwriting deal, like a pub deal, writing both for myself and for other artists. And I would definitely like to see myself um, just doing more touring, being on the road, and playing bigger and better festivals. 10 years, the dream would definitely be to get the perfect record deal and be playing on the Opry and the CMT Awards and the all the big stages. Um, but I think like as long as I'm anywhere in this industry, like I'm happy and I'm loving it, and there's always gonna be room to grow and a next thing to achieve. But just trying to like soak it all in for sure. And there's a lot to be said about being an independent artist these days too. It's not the industry isn't the same as it used to be.
Right.
So yeah, I would love to have a pub deal and a record deal, but it's gonna have to be the right fit. So I think I'll be, independent until I find the thing that is right.
Right. And when you hit the point of making it,
Hmm.
there's a lot to it. You got to give up your family life. You're away a lot. You're traveling a lot. You're, staying in places you're not familiar with.
Hmm.
You're married. How does your husband support this? Is he 100% behind you? Does he hope that happens? Or does he want you just to make it big and stay local? Or, uh, as a family member, how is
Yeah,
he?
he's extremely supportive. He I mean, he moved to Nashville for me. He's helped a lot in like the transitions of me going from like full-time to part-time to full-time musician, and then whenever I started touring a lot, kind of after COVID, and it kind of took off. And I think like there definitely is some learning curves in that, because we didn't I mean, we knew in our minds that eventually that would be what it would look like, but in reality, going from like being home all the time to being like suddenly on the road a lot, was definitely an adjustment. And he misses me, but he's also very, very supportive. And so comes with me when he can. He's a teacher, so he can't come with me super often,
Yeah.
um but yeah, he's very sweet and very supportive, and we'll navigate the rest as we go.
Great. And when he does join you, no one holds a guitar like him, brings it in, your own personal
Actually,
roadie.
he is a drummer, so if I
Oh,
if
wow.
I'm able to snag him for the road, I usually make him play cajon or drum set. Or sometimes if he's been busy and just wants to relax, he just kind of just hangs out and drinks a beer.
Great. Hey, nothing wrong with that. So do you guys just hang around the house sometimes and just jam together, or is that
We used to do more jamming together, but I think as we've both like just gotten so much busier. There's not enough time or energy. Like we both tend to be like working on things on our own, or we're just like we need to chill and actually spend some time together. So we don't jam as much as we used to, and I think we'll probably get back to that eventually. But me being full-time musician, he's a middle school band and orchestra director, so we're just around music constantly. So so sometimes when like our time is a break from that.
Yeah. What do you like to do besides music?
I am kind of like I do love watching TV, and being lazy. Uh, and we did have a dog, and that was one of my favorite things, was like walking him and playing with him. He passed a while back, so don't have that
Sorry.
right now. But I mean, I'm one of those people that can like enjoy lots of different things. Like I like to read, I like to go on hikes, I like to be outdoors, I like small crafting things like making earrings and things. Um, I can get into just about anything.
Fun.
So yeah, but I think we are such like workaholics that a lot of times we just tend to like be lazy and watch TV
Well,
or comedy. We like to watch comedy too.
you're enjoying. I did. You're enjoying your downtime.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent. So let's listen to another song from you. What song are we gonna do?
Let's do House Fire. That's probably the favorite one I've written. So
All right, Housefire. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Krystal King. You can find her at krystalkingmusic.com. Follow her on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, and whatever else you have. And this is Housefire with Krystal King.
I could say that I'm lonely, could say that I'm bored, but on the wrinkles, press the collar and just put it in the drawer. I could say that I'm restless, or that I'm not in love, so I do my best to pick up the mess and sweep it all under the rug. Call it good enough. I don't smoke, but I got a lighter. I ain't sick, but I got pills. Up till now, I haven't used them, but maybe someday I will. Don't drink, but I got bourbon sitting in the closet in the back. I don't smoke, but I got a lighter. Someday I'm gonna start a house fire. Doesn't say anything. The weatherman says it's gonna be another rainy day. So I put on my lipstick, take a long look in the mirror, and try not to think about the next 30 years. How the hell I got here. I don't smoke, but I got a lighter. I ain't sick, but I got pills. Up till now, I haven't used them, but maybe someday I will. I don't drink, but I got bourbon sitting in the closet in till now I haven't used them, but maybe someday I will. Don't drink, but I got bourbon sitting in the closet in the back. I don't smoke, but I got a lighter. Someday I'm gonna start a house fire. Gonna start a house
You burned that one up. You see what I did there? That was good, right?
That was real good. I like
That was
that.
good.
I
Yeah,
like that.
not really, but thanks for the. So, House Fire, can you tell us about that song?
Yeah. Wow. And that one actually just turned a year old. Just turned a year old. I wrote that one again, actually the same songwriter, Stephanie Joyce, as I wrote Mind Your Own Backyard. And I just had this line, I don't smoke, but I've got a lighter. And I took it to her. I was like, I have this line and I feel like it could be something really cool. And the song should be something about fire, but I have no idea what it should be about. And she actually was like, you know what? It's funny you said that because I have like a title called House Fire, and I kind of wanted it to be about like a woman who's just like fed up with her life and just wants to like burn it down. And so we kind of smushed those two things together, which is funny how that happens. Sometimes you'll have something in written in your book that you have no idea what to do with, and somebody else has an idea that either changes the way you were thinking about it before or brings that to life. So that was one of those songs, but it turned a year old. There's a music video for it, and it's probably one of my favorites I've ever written. It's definitely on the darker, sad side, but
Yeah, I watched the video before I came into the studio today with
yeah.
all the candles all over the place. And
There was like 50 candles. And actually Kirsty Kraus was the one who lit all of those things.
all
She was turned into a little bit of a pyromaniac. I was like, I gotta get you out of here.
right.
We also were really close to catching the cat on fire.
Oh, so it really almost was a house fire.
Yeah, there was a cat there, and he started walking through the candles and like flicking his tail. We were like,
Crazy, crazy. Uh, let's see. You have a new album coming out?
I do,
You
I do,
do. And you have a album release party
I
too.
do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So usually those are closed in for like special people, but you have opened it up to the first however many people that buy tickets. So
Mhm.
how do people get tickets to that? I think it's a once in a lifetime opportunity
Yeah.
for people to come and see you, and you're going to play at the event, I would assume.
hmm
And you're going to be signing autographs and
All the things.
taking pictures. You're going to be doing all the things. So how do our listeners and viewers find out about going to the very VIP Crystal King music release party?
Yes. So it is on TuneHatch is the website where you can go buy tickets. But I will be posting things on my website and on my socials and all of that. So you can find that. I'll have the link in my bio, and I'll post it to all the things. So my website's crystalkingmusic.com with a K, and I think I have it set up where there's a little pop-up right when you go to my website so that you can get the tickets there. And that's for March 27th, 6 to 8 here in Nashville.
That's
And
awesome.
then the album will release at midnight, so technically March 28th.
Are you going to have the albums there to sell?
Yes, yes.
Oh, how exciting. And it's only
Yeah.
$10, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
$10. What a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to go out and check that out. If I was in the area that night, I would definitely be there.
Yeah, and both
They're
of the
fun.
songs, the songs we played today are on the album. It's been, gosh, like 4 years in the making, really. And then the album has been available on CD. But this will be the first time that it's available digitally, and you can hear all the songs. We've been releasing them for, gosh, I I guess the songs for a year and a half. I've released 4 off of the album, and then the final product will have three new ones that you haven't heard before.
Super exciting.
Yeah.
So can you give us a sneak peek, or is it all a secret? Who is going to be in the crowd?
In the crowd.
Yeah.
Well, on the lineup itself, I have just a fun lineup. The first hour is actually going to be a writers round with all the girls that were co-writers with me on the project. We're missing one because she's going off on a trip to California, but we'll have 3 of the girls. So Stephanie Joyce, Lina, and Taylor Hughes are the 3 that'll be kind of opening the show. And then I'm going to do I'm actually going to do a few songs with the band where artists who have cut songs that we've written together are going to sing those songs. So my friend Zach McKay will be there, and Kirsty's going to come and do Who Am I Gonna Love, that she released with Thomas. And my friend Taylor will get up and do one with the band. And then after that, we'll just do a rundown of the album. So we'll play straight through. Have a few of the people who recorded on the album kind of come up and do special appearances. But yeah, so we're hoping for a good crowd. And
Yeah, sounds like it's going to be a sold out show. So if you're going
I
to
hope
go,
so.
make sure you buy your tickets now. $10.
Mhm.
You can afford it.
At the
I love
5
it.
spot, and it's such a cool venue. It's a really neat space.
In which venue was it again?
It's called the 5 spot.
Okay, the 5 spot.
Yeah, and it's kind of like got like an elevated dive bar feel to it, if that makes sense. Get a really nice stage. They will probably I haven't decided if I'm gonna live stream it or not, but I'm definitely gonna have it recorded, and it'll be a fun time.
Well, I hope that is a huge success.
Yes, and then I'll get off stage and drink with everybody, because
why not?
then I'll be like, we've done it.
There you go. This is about me. What's your drink of choice?
I tend to go towards like whiskey and Coke, or an old fashioned. But I'm not super choosy. I'm not like an alcohol snob. Like I like wine. I like it all.
I like that. Yeah, you can't go wrong with a good whiskey. So, and you're in the neighborhood for it out in Tennessee. So
Yeah. Which I
great
usually
whiskey.
stick to like Crown or Jack. I don't go to like any crazy whiskeys. I do enjoy like more expensive whiskey, but I can't afford more expensive whiskey. So I just have to keep my palate okay with the cheap stuff.
Okay, there you go. There you go. So before we say goodbye to you, let's listen to one more song, and then we'll tidy up our wonderful conversation with Krystal King. Let's listen to one more song with Krystal. And
alrighty.
what song we listening to this time?
Oh, do you want one that's released or unreleased?
Let's go unreleased.
Unreleased. Okay. Let's go with Jesus in Jail. Somewhere between Jesus and Jail.
All right. This is a special treat for our listeners. Krystal King.
Came rolling into that church pew like a cloud of smoke. I was out all down, not doing God only knows. I never even made it home, rocking last night's hair and a second coat of that change.
All right, somewhere between Jesus and jail. There's a fine line, I guess, right?
It is. It's a very fine line.
It's like the cops and the criminals. It's
Yeah.
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 So
I love it.
yeah, that song, what inspired that?
My friend Taylor Hughes came in with that title, and it kind of just turned into like the Hot Mess Express song. Um, and I always joke whenever I'm on stage that it was inspired by my mother-in-law. It really wasn't, but in hindsight, I made it about her. But I grew up Lutheran, and we drink the real wine of communion. My mother-in-law, my husband, he grew up Baptist, and they don't drink. So, but she joined a wine club, and when she drinks her wine, she would put her Lutheran t-shirt on so that she could drink guilt-free for the evening. So I always dedicate this one to her.
Excellent, excellent. Uh, all right, so Krystal King, thank you so much for coming on. You can find out all about her, krystalkingmusic.com. She's on all the social media. Make sure you follow her, show her some love, buy some t-shirts, even one of those cool koozies she's got going. And if you're in Nashville for her record release party for $10, you can be part of a very elite crowd. And we wish you an awesome success with this new album. And
Thank you.
we like to think people come on our show as acquaintances or complete strangers, but leave it friends because I think that we earned a friendship today, and we want to thank you for being our friend.
Yes, I appreciate it.
It was great. Thank you.
Thank you.